Hey, what's up guys? Collector John here, coming at you today with a PSP video thing. If you're anything like me, you've been traveling a lot this summer, and when I'm on the go, I still want to be able to play video games, and for 2023, my handheld of choice has been the PlayStation Portable. And because I've been traveling so much, spending money on gas and food and, whatever else you spend it on when you're traveling, I don't have a lot of money to spend on collecting video games lately. But luckily, with the PSP, a lot of those games are still really cheap and still really easy to find, which is great because I'm heading to Press Start Games in Appleton, Wisconsin today, and all I have to spend is $23 cash that I have left over from this trip that I took to the Badlands. There's a couple cheaper games that I'm still looking to add to the collection, like Ridge Racer, or Daxter, or Dissidia Final Fantasy. Those games are all like around $10. So maybe I can get like 2, or if I'm lucky, maybe even 3 of these games with my $23 that I have here. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna show you guys a few other cool PSP games that I picked up recently. We're gonna play a few games and hang out. We might even dive into the Collector John question bucket, which I've never done before. But yeah, that's enough yapping. Let's get right into it with Press Start Games in Appleton, Wisconsin. Should be pretty fun.
It's a beautiful day here in Appleton, Wisconsin, and we're just now pulling up to Press Start Games. I'm pretty stoked to see what PSP games I can find in here with my $23, so let's head inside and see what they got. And I gotta say right off the bat, this store is pretty freaking awesome, and I wish I had more than $23 to spend in here. Their inventory is just expansive. As you can see, it's a big store and it's just covered wall to wall with video games. I think it's a lot bigger than most game stores that I've been to in Wisconsin. And they just had a lot of cool stuff, like these Vita games. You don't really see sealed Vita stuff very often. And the prices seemed really reasonable too. I'm going to have to come back here and do another video with a bigger budget because there's just a ton of cool stuff here. But today I'm sequestering myself in this corner of the store with the PSP games, right next to the GameCube section with the stuff that I can't afford. But yeah, let's get right into it. Let's see if we can find any cool PSP games for $23 or less. Here we go. Let's take a closer look at what they got here in the top shelf. Mostly Japanese region stuff, not really what I'm looking for today. On the lower shelf, I then noticed a copy of Castlevania, The Dracula X Chronicles, which would be really cool, but it's $40, so I can't buy it. I don't think even Phoenix Resale could negotiate them down to $23 on this one. Then I saw Alien Syndrome. I've seen this game at a few different game stores now. They had it here for $15. I don't think this game is great, judging by some of the reviews that I've seen, so I think we're going to pass on this one today. Maybe I'll get it eventually just because I like sci-fi shooty-up games. Shooty-up? Is that something people say? I don't know. Here's Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories for $20. That's actually a pretty decent price for this. This was a nice complete copy. It even had the map in there. And I've never looked at the manual for this game, but this is like a pretty sick manual. It's styled like a newspaper. I can't remember if the console versions had this kind of manual. I'll have to go look at my copy of GTA 3. I'm really interested in this one, so we're going to throw it on the stack, and we might end up picking that up, or we might grab something else instead. I don't know, like maybe Gran Turismo? No, I don't really want Gran Turismo. What about God Eater Burst? I remember Jason A. Stryker from Giant Bomb used to talk about this series a lot. I don't know anything about it. It looks like it might be kind of cool, but I don't know. It seems like a little over my head today, not something that I'm looking to get into right now, so we're going to pass on it this time. Couple cool fighting games here. We got Tekken Dark Resurrection and also Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. Between these two, I think I'm more interested in the Street Fighter game. This would be really fun to play on the PSP, I think. It's priced pretty fairly. It's like market value price. So it's going to be a tough choice between this one and Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories and whatever else I might find because we're still looking. All right, it's time to get down to the cheap stuff. We're going all the way to the bottom shelf, and ooh, spotted a copy of Ridge Racer for $10. That's actually really, really fair. I think it usually goes for like more in the 15 to 20 range, so $10 is great, and I really want this game. So man, there's going to be some tough choices here. I don't know. We're putting that one up here on the stack. And if I buy Ridge Racer, I have to find another cheap game to go with it. So how about Napoleon Dynamite, the game? Or how about not? How about we just leave that for someone else? What else we got down here? We got this Resistance game. I think first-person shooters on the PSP are always pretty impressive. Not always the most fun, but it's just like cool to be playing something like that on a PSP. I don't know. I feel like I could find something that I'm more interested in today. They had this Rengoku game, which I've looked at it before. I don't think it has the best reviews. There's got to be something here. We got Killzone Liberation. This might actually be cool. This is not a first-person shooter. This is actually a tactics combat game set in the Killzone universe. that actually seems pretty fun, and it's $10, so if I bought it with Ridge Racer, I would be within my $23 budget. So now we need to decide. I got Street Fighter Alpha Max 3, really interested in that, but it'd be spending my whole budget, and it's a pretty, average price. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories is a pretty solid price at $20, but again, it'd be my whole budget. I really want both of those, but I also am very interested in Ridge Racer and Killzone, in which case I would get 2 games in my budget. And I don't know, 2 games might be better than 1 game, so this is going to be a really tough choice. Or I could just get The Suffering on Xbox for $20. That'd be maybe I'll just do that. I don't know. But find out after this manually placed ad break which games I decided to buy.
All right, y'all, we're back in the whip. It is freaking hot in here, but I can't turn the AC on because then the audio will be all screwed up. But anyway, let me show you guys what I decided to get in start over games. Yeah, so I ended up going with the 2 cheaper games. I got Killzone Liberation and Ridge Racer. I'm just really excited about Ridge Racer, and like $10 is a really good price for this game. It's one that I've been wanting to pick up, so I was like, it's hard to pass on it. It's one that I've been wanting to pick up for a while, so it was really hard to pass on it for that price. And then, just getting Killzone Liberation was just kind of a bonus, and it still fit in my budget. Yeah, I think this will be another fun one to mess around with. It looks cool. It's like kind of a tactical combat looking game. I think that'll be really fun to play on the PSP, so stoked on both of these. But yeah, it's way too hot in this car, and I gotta head back to Milwaukee, so let's take it back to the studio. All right, y'all, we're back in the Collector John studio. I'm going to show you a few more PSP games that I picked up recently. We've got ourselves a little stack here, starting off with Crazy Taxi Fare Wars. I got this for $10 at the Mega Media Exchange Brookfield location in Milwaukee. I think $10 is a pretty good price for this game, and it is complete. It's a really nice copy of Crazy Taxi Fare Wars, and I played a bunch of this on our trip to the Badlands when I wasn't driving. I was playing Crazy Taxi in the car. So that was really fun. This is like a super fun game. Next up, we got Phantasy Star Portable. I've not played this yet. I've actually never played a Phantasy Star game in my whole life. So maybe this would be a good place to start. I don't know. I know that it has single player, because I'm definitely not going to play this online. I don't think you can even do that anymore. Well, maybe you can, but I don't know. But in any case, I got this for $17 at the same Mega Media Exchange in Brookfield, which again, I think that's like a really solid price for this game. So I'm pretty excited to check out the single player and just see what Phantasy Star is all about, because it's not a series that I'm familiar with at all. So that should be fun. Next up, we got Loco Roco, a classic PSP title. I've been playing through the story of this, and it's a really, really fun game. It gets a little repetitive after a while, but I think this game is really fun, and it kind of like feels like a precursor to like a lot of games like this coming out, like these kind of indie platformer games with just like weird little mechanics. But yeah, I think this game is really fun. I think the art style is amazing. The music is great. Just a great little PSP game to mess around with. And I think I spent like $7 on this at Mojo's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So we got Patapon, another classic PSP game, another kind of just weird art style, weird music game for the PSP. I think I played a little bit of Patapon a few years ago, and it was really fun, so I wanted to grab a copy of it for the PSP. I think I just had a digital copy on the Vita or something. I got this for $10 at Half Price Books in Milwaukee. I'm not sure if that's a great price, but it's not going to break the bank. We got Reflex MX vs. ATV. Maybe not the best PSP game, but I always thought these games were pretty fun. I've played some of these on the PS2 and PS3, and I think they're cool. So this was like, I think $3. The Mega Media Exchange in Franklin, Wisconsin was having a sale because they're closing, so I think this game was only like $3 after the discount. Oopsie. And another complete copy. The case is a little messed up, but that's okay. I haven't played this yet, but I'll probably check it out at some point. Just, it's just a casual little fun thing to check out. We got Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. This is one of the PSP games that I played a lot when I was a kid. And I freaking loved this game. I'm not really sure how it would hold up today. I haven't played it yet. But I remember liking it a lot, so I'm excited to check it out again and just see how it holds up. I think the controls are probably a little weird. Like, it has the camera movement mapped to the face buttons. That's kind of the thing that I remember about it. And I remember it worked pretty well, but I don't know. It might be weird going back to that control scheme now. But in any case, I definitely will play this at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I think I can't remember where I got this, but I think I spent like $5 or $6 on it. It was not expensive. So Siphon Filter Dark Mirror, cool one to have in the collection. And we got a copy of Lumines that I found at Goodwill. This is a great game. I love Lumines. I've played it on the Switch, and I've always wanted to check out the original PSP version of it. So I'm happy to have this. I've played some of it. I'm not very good at Lumines, but I just think it's really fun. So yeah, another cool one I have in the PSP collection, and that was $4, so not bad. And last but not least, I bought this loose copy of Metal Gear Solid, the digital graphic novel, at Gaming Generations in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I think I spent $20 on this, which even for a loose copy, that's like a really, really decent price for this game. And I've played through some of it. I played like maybe half an hour, and then I went back to play some more of it, and I realized that I had deleted my save. So that was a huge bummer, but I'm definitely going to go back and restart at some point. Because I want to play through this whole thing. Like, it's not very long, and I'm like a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid, and I've never played through this digital graphic novel, and it's really cool. There's like kind of a weird like hidden item hunt aspect to it, where you can like kind of pause the graphic novel scenes and then kind of like look around for hidden objects in the on the frames, which is really cool. But yeah, this is just like a really weird, interesting thing, and I'm happy to have this in the collection as well. And yeah, this is what I love about PSP collecting. I think all told on this stack of games, I spent less than $100, and there's just some really solid titles in here, some that I've really been enjoying, some that I'm excited to check out soon. So yeah, I've really, really, really been enjoying the PSP a lot. I think it's a great console. I just love that the library's huge and the games are still really inexpensive. It's just a great system to collect for. I've really been loving it. And with that collection update out of the way, I think we're going to hang out and play a few of these PSP games. There's a few in here that I want to check out, a few that I want to talk about that I've already played. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. Let's start off with some Ridge Racer. So satisfying. I love UMDs. Yeah, so I actually just put a new screen on my PSP today, and it's looking real good. It's not an IPS or anything, it's just an LCD screen. I don't think the PSP 2000 is compatible with IPS, which is what I have. I have the 2000. So, you know, an IPS would be nice, but the screen that was in here was super messed up. Like, it just had a bunch of, like, vertical lines going down the screen, and there was, like, some water damage, like some mold or something in there, too. So that thing was just really, really bad, and this new one, even though it's just an LCD, not IPS, it looks way, way better than what I was working with before. So I'm pretty stoked about this new screen. I'm having a good time playing on my PSP with an actual good screen. And yeah, I've played a couple hours of Ridge Racer, and I'm really, really enjoying this game. The only other Ridge Racer that I've played is the PS1 Ridge Racer, like the original, well, other than the arcade, like the original console release of Ridge Racer. And that game is great. I love the vibe of it. I think it's really fun. I was also really bad at it. Like, I couldn't really get the drifting down. And this version, for whatever reason, I feel like I've actually figured out the drifting. So that's cool. And I don't want to do World Tour, actually. I would just want to go back to main menu. We'll just do single race. Okay, so got some courses here. I think we're going to let's do the Green Peak Highlands. That sounds fun. Here's where you pick your music. We want to do some of the classic music, because that's the good stuff. So we're going to go classic disc 1. We're going to put it on random, and that should be pretty cool. Yeah, this game's really fun. I'm liking it a lot. It's just a good, solid arcade racer. They don't really make them like this anymore. And I think today we're going to open up the question bucket. I've never done this before, but I'm going to try to answer some questions that you guys sent me while I play games on the PlayStation Portable. So we'll see how that goes. So Megamob5834 writes in and said, I'd like to hear your thoughts on shelf collecting versus actually playing your games and the pros and cons of game collecting in 2023. Okay, so shelf collecting. I think it's fine. I think if you're collecting stuff just to have it, that's totally fine. I feel like that's what a lot of collections are based on. And like, I think video games are actually kind of unique in that aspect, and that a lot of people who collect things are collecting them just to have the thing. Like if you have like a rock collection or a coin collection, you're just collecting the thing and having it and just appreciating the fact that you have it. And video games are cool because you can also play them. It's like an interactive medium that you can do stuff with it and not just have them sit on a shelf. But I think if you're just into the collection aspect of it, like if you don't have time to play all the stuff that you collect, but you still really just like collecting it just to collect it, I think that's totally fine. You know, there's no judgment from me if that's what you're into. I think
I think there's definitely value to that for a lot of people. For me personally, I really like to play my video games a lot, but I kind of have like an understanding that I collect a lot of video games and I don't have a lot of time. And yeah, it's highly unlikely that I won't ever get to everything that I collect. Like I won't have time to play all of them. But I still I want to collect games that I think I will want to play at some point. That's kind of what I base my collection around, is like stuff that I'm actually interested in playing. But yeah, I think my collecting habits are kind of like a mix of the two. It's like kind of a mix of shelf collecting and like actually playing my stuff. And I think for a lot of people, it's probably like pretty similar. But yeah, I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm doing real bad here. Usually I'm able to get first place on these races, but I can already tell you that is not going to happen here while I'm playing this through a camera viewfinder and talking, answering questions. My hands are super sweaty. But that's okay, we're just chilling. Just chilling and playing some Ridge Racer. Yeah, Ridge Racer is great. The drifting is super fun. I finally got a handle on how you do it. So you're kind of you're letting go of the accelerator while you're turning, and then as you start drifting, you want to start hitting the accelerator again to kind of accelerate into the drift. And you can kind of just do crazy stuff like this. Well, that didn't work, but you can just do like real crazy like sideways drifts, and it's a lot of fun. And then also in this one, I don't know where they introduced this mechanic with the nitrous, but there is a nitrous mechanic where the more you drift, the faster your nitrous meter will fill up, and then you can do this. You can go full nitrous, which is pretty fun. And I feel like that adds a lot to the racing. Like the original Ridge Racer did not have that mechanic, and it just kind of like encourages drifting a little more. I don't know, you like want to be drifting to fill up that nitrous meter, and then you're boosting. But yeah, I'm probably like not drifting as much as I should be. I feel like you really want to be drifting a lot in these games, but I'm kind of just like still learning how to play. So yeah, I don't know. But this game, like, it runs really, really smooth on the PlayStation Portable. It's super impressive how smooth this game is and how good it looks. Like if you picked up a PSP in 2005 and this was the launch title that you grabbed with it, that was probably freaking awesome. Like, whoopsie. I bet this is like a really, really impressive technical showpiece for the time to be playing this on a handheld when the Game Boy Advance was like big at this time, and this is just like on a completely different level. Like, the Game Boy Advance is great, but this is just insane. Like you're basically playing PS2 games on a handheld. It's pretty nuts. And we finished the race. We did it. But yeah, that's Ridge Racer. It's great. If you have a PSP and don't have Ridge Racer, you should probably get it. It's not expensive. My copy was $10, and I feel really good about spending $10 on this. So let's try a different game. I'm going to throw in Loco Roco because it's chill and cool. Now, also, just as a side note, I have a couple PS1 classics loaded on here. They're all horror games, but I have Silent Hill, I have Dino Crisis 2, Parasite Eve 2, and Dino Crisis. And I played through most of Dino Crisis, and I was really enjoying it. I've never played through this game before. I got to a point where it was just like this really annoying T-Rex chasing you sequence that I could not get through, and I kind of just gave up at that point. But I was really enjoying the game up until that point. And I got to play Dino Crisis 2 soon, because that one seems like it's better than the first one, I think. But yeah, here's Loco Roco, which I've already played through over half of this game, and it's really fun. So we're just going to chill out and play a couple levels of Loco Roco, give you my thoughts on it, answer a couple more questions, maybe. Rude Street Collectibles writes in and asks, working on any merch? Not at the moment. That's something that I would really like to do. I honestly just don't feel like the channel is big enough yet to justify merch. I think when I get to like 10,000 subscribers, that'll probably be a good time to really get serious about getting some merch. But yeah, that's something where I would want the channel to pay for that, and the channel really isn't paying for much at this point. It's it's making me a little bit of money, but we still got a long way to go before we're making any serious purchases with collector John money, so might be a little bit before we get some merch, but we'll get there eventually. I think we can do it. Okay, and I think we're on the last level of World 3, so we'll just dive right into that, see what it's all about. This game is great. It has a great style. The music is awesome. It looks really cool. It's fun. Like the control gimmick, you know, if you want to call it a gimmick, it's kind of a gimmick where you're like tilting the screen with the shoulder buttons to move. That's pretty much how you control this game, and it's really fun. That's like a fun way to play a platformer, just like tilting the screen. I will say though, it gets pretty repetitive. Like I feel like after the first 2 worlds, it was kind of like, oh, I feel like I've kind of seen, you know, World 3 is just kind of like the same stuff from World 1 and 2. But it's a fun little diversion. And I think I paid like $7 for this, and I think when it came out it was like 20, so it was like kind of a budget title. And I think I would have been, if I paid $20 for this in 2006, whenever it came out, I think I would have been pretty happy. I think I would have been like, yeah, this is cool. I'm having fun with this. Let's pull another question out of the question bucket here. Cody Reader 9970 writes in and says, any tips on backlogs? Over the past year or two, I've took game collecting seriously. I've been going to my local game stores and buying games online that I had when I was a kid. Add this to the growing list of games coming out in today's market, and I find it hard to find time to play all this stuff. I need a good strategy on how to play my backlog if you have one. That's a great question. I don't really have a strategy other than I think it's important to just like not get stressed about the stuff that you're like not able to find time to play. Like just play the stuff that you want to play. Don't get stressed about like playing games to completion. Like it's it's great if you have time to play everything that you want to play and like play them all the way through. But I think for most people that's like pretty unreasonable, especially if you're like collecting stuff and trying to play new stuff. I just like play the stuff that I want to play, and then if I get tired of it or I'm like, you know, feel like I want to play something new, then I just move on to something new. It's like, it's not a big deal. Like I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 right now, and I really, okay, hold on. This section right here is really, I'm doing really bad. Okay, that took way too long. Yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16, and I really, really like Final Fantasy 16. I think I'm about 30 hours in, and that's like maybe a little over halfway through. And I've been playing it for like, you know, well over a month at this point, and I kind of just feel like, you know, I'm really enjoying it. I would like to see the whole thing, but it's also, I don't have a ton of time to play stuff, and there's other stuff that I want to start playing instead. So I think I might just move on to some other stuff, and I think that's totally fine. Like I paid $70 for Final Fantasy 16, and I feel like I've gotten $70 worth of enjoyment out of it. I thought it was really fun. Maybe at some point I'll go back and finish it, but for now I might just move on to something else, and I think that's fine. I'm not stressing about it, you know? So yeah, my advice would be to not make like playing video games into a chore, not make it into like a checklist of games that you're trying to like clear off a list. Just try to keep it fun, because otherwise it's not going to be a good use of your time, I don't think. Okay, what do I do here? I don't know what's going on. My camera battery's dying too. We honestly might have to wrap this up pretty soon because my camera's gonna die, and I don't know what's going on here. Go! Okay, come on. Okay, jeez, we made it over that thing. Dude, I think I'm sweatier than I've ever been in my whole life right now, playing Loco Roco. So that's cool. That's definitely the designer's intention of this game, was to make sure people were sweating like crazy while playing Loco Roco. Yeah, I think Jeff Gersman reviewed this game for GameSpot, and I think he gave it a decently high score. Like, it was in the 7s, but it was like a high 7, I think. And he kind of said like the same thing that I'm saying, where, you know, it's a great idea for a game. It's a really cool concept. It's just kind of samey, kind of repetitive after a while. And it's not even a long game, but it just starts to feel repetitive after like 1 or 2 hours. So I wonder, I think there's 2 more Loco Roco games. I think there's Loco Roco 2 and 3. So I'd be interested to see those, like if they kind of switched it up at all, if they were able to find out ways to make this formula exciting, because it's such a cool idea. They just need to do a little bit more with it, I think. But if you're a PSP collector, again, this game is definitely worth having in a PSP collection, I think. It's super cheap. It's fun. You can just play it for like 30 minutes to an hour and get like a good sense of what it is. And I think that's definitely worth a few dollars if you're looking to add a fun, cheap game to your collection. I hope my camera doesn't die. If it does, it was great knowing you guys. I'm not gonna put a new battery in and refill. Maybe I will. I don't know. Just got to get to the end of this level before my camera dies. This is why I'm sweaty. It's the Loco Roco meta game that I've inflicted on myself by not charging my camera battery. Come on, baby. Come on. You're almost there. Oh, no! We got the big guy. The big boy. We did it. We made it to the end. Yes. So then you just gotta do that, and then you're all good. All right, well, that's Loco Roco, and that's going to do it for my video. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, sorry this video is a little weird, kind of like a mishmash of different video ideas. Like I said, I've just been really busy, and I didn't really have time to film a cohesive video, and I want to put something out before I leave for California next week. So this is what we got, and I hope you guys liked it anyway. I hope you had fun watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm heading to San Francisco, and I'm going to do some filming there, maybe. Hopefully we're going to do a video there, but we'll see. But in any case, we'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm Collector John. We'll see you later.